Hello and welcome to Plus TV Africa. I'm Lakwe Banjo with the news update. Benue Police Commissioner Fatai Owoseni says that 198 persons have been arrested for allegedly violating the state's open grazing prohibition law. Owoseni told reporters in Makurdi, the state capital, that the suspects are currently facing prosecution in court. According to the police commissioner, the suspects include those involved in cattle rustling and those who engaged in open grazing of cattle. Owoseni noted that the 19 suspects involved in the recent clash between rival cult groups in Otukpo local government area of the state were also arrested. Benue has been under attack by suspected herdsmen for some time now, with over 100 killed since January this year alone. It will be recalled that only recently the Methodist Church of Nigeria urged President Muhammadu Buhari to declare armed herdsmen responsible for the gruesome killings of farmers across the country as terrorists. Some 22,000 prospective teachers nationwide are expected to write computer-based Teachers Professional Qualifying Examination from June 7th to June 9th. Professor Josiah, the Registrar and Chief Executive of the Council, in a statement by Head Press and Protocol of the Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria, Mr. Olumuyiwa Ojewuyi, noted that all arrangements have been put in place to conduct a successful Batch A of the computer-based test. The teachers qualified to sit for the examination are those who have met the conditions of the Council for Registration, Certification and Licensing. About 30,000 applications were received by the Council, with 8,000 disqualified for insufficient details and other technical reasons. And on the foreign scene, President Omar al-Bashir of Sudan will be hosting the peace talks between South Sudan's bitter rivals, President Salva Kiir and rebel leader Riek Machar. Omar al-Bashir has offered to host the meeting in Khartoum, according to an official of the Foreign Ministry. The message was conveyed to Kiir by a delegation from South Sudan who paid him a visit in Juba on Tuesday. The peace move comes days after a warning from the UN Security Council that both warring parties would face possible sanctions if they fail to reach a peace deal. Kiir, on the other hand, has accepted the gesture and assured the delegation of his willingness to participate in the talk with Riek Machar. It is not clear, though, when the meeting would happen and whether or not Machar has agreed to it. Now to business. Over 80 buildings, including 5 commercial banks on Allen Avenue, Ikeja, have been shut down by the Lagos State Building Control Agency over illegal conversion. The affected buildings, according to the agency's general manager, Lekan Shodainde, who led other officials to the agency on the exercise, had been issued notices over a month ago to regularize their documents converting the buildings. The owners of the buildings are required to effect the change from the original granted residential approval to one for commercial purposes, but only few had complied. The general manager, who noted that the permit is mandatory under the physical planning law, emphasized that LASBCA had been given the responsibility to ensure compliance and audit building. Shodainde warned that the state government will no longer tolerate illegal conversion of residential buildings for commercial purposes without due authorization, as defaulters will face the full wrath of the law. Following the rise to power of Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, the country is opening its state-owned telecommunications company, as well as the airlines, to foreign investors. According to the Ethiopian news agency, Ethiopia is expected to sell its minority stakes to the foreign and domestic investors via state monopolies. The monopolies include its Ethio Telecom, Ethiopian Airline Enterprise, and the Ethiopian Shipping and Logistics Services Enterprise. They cited the ruling Ethiopian People's Revolutionary Democratic Front, saying that the foreigners without knowledge and foreign capital can play a critical role in the country's growth. Prior to this, the Ethiopian government had largely kept its industries in-house. It had been deliberately unreceptive to external investors, but this move, if taken, will be quite an achievement for Prime Minister Abiy. And in entertainment, while many are still trying to come to terms with Usher's recent scandals, a gay man is now accusing the R&B star of not only having sex with him, but also infecting him with herpes. Usher was slammed with a new lawsuit in 2017 after 3 people, a man and 2 women, claimed they had sex with him at different times in 2012. According to Lisa Bloom, the plaintiff's lawyer in the 2017 case said the fact that Usher did not disclose to them that he had an STD was the main issue. However, of all the 3 accusers, only 1 tested positive for herpes. The lawsuit is now gaining momentum, and the gay man is filing a motion to compel the R&B star to disclose his herpes-related medical information to court. He alleges that Usher has refused to turn over documents and is instead trying to invoke attorney-client and physician-patient privileges in order not to hand over his medical records. And that concludes the news update at this hour. I'm Lakwe Banjo. Do have a great day.